We have the presence of the one and only Kim Baer right now here in studio with us. Kim, attorney at law here. And today we're going to be talking about suing you. I'm going to sue. All right, but we're talking about something very specific.
Right. So I thought maybe we'd talk about contracts today. I don't think we've talked about that before on the show. And what made me think that maybe this is a topic we should talk about is I recently was talking to someone and they said, well, I never had a contract. We agreed X, Y, and Z. That person didn't do what they said, but we didn't have a contract. And I said, well, why do you think you didn't have a contract? Well, I didn't have anything in writing. We didn't sign anything.
It was just like a handshake.
It's just kind of a handshake and a promise. And I think what people don't realize is that that can constitute a contract.
Oh, it can?
An enforceable contract. Yes. So you can have a contract in writing. You can have a contract that's an oral contract. And so the question, so let's say that you and I are going to, well, let's just say I'm going to sell you my watch. You decide you like my watch, your wife would love it, and so we agree on a price, $500, which by the way is a lot for this watch. But let's just say you're gonna buy the watch, and so we email. We just email, and you say, hey Kim, I really like that watch. How about $500? And I say, yeah, that sounds great. I'll mail it to you. And you say, great, I'll send you a check. So I mail you the watch. And then you turn out to be a deadbeat, and you don't send me the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I looked at the watch. It's not worth $500.
Right. I've been cheated. So that email constitutes a contract.
Now, you can trace and track an email line. You can trace and track checks. You can't trace and track a handshake or a spoken word.
Right. So then that gets a little difficult.
Okay.
You know, so then it's proof. I mean, so it might be a he said, she said, you know, because you have to prove the terms. So sometimes, you know, maybe if you and I are speaking about a contract, about something that I'm going to sell you or you're going to sell me, and Lou is sitting here and he just happens to remember that, oh yeah, no, I remember them talking about that, and this was going to be the price, and this is what was going to happen. Well, now we've got a witness. But also, let's say that this time I'm selling you the watch, and we're just talking about it, and then I send it to you. Well, there's proof that there must have been some type of an agreement between the two of us, because why would I just randomly send you my watch?
Because you executed something.
Yeah, I executed something. So then the question is what are the terms? Because the court, if we're going to go to court, the court needs to know, okay, was there a meeting of the minds? Did we have an agreement with regard to what the price was going to be? Did we have an agreement that it was going to be this watch?
Right.
And then did somebody not do something? You know, so let's say this time you give me the money today, and then I just never get around to sending you the watch.
Right.
Well, why would you randomly give me money, you know? And if that's money I accepted, let's say you gave me $500 and I said, great, I've got $500. You know, now we know the price, and you're going to say it's for the watch, and I'm going to have to come up with a pretty good darn excuse or reason or different story to not give you the watch. So if we're in front of a judge. So what people need to know is that what can constitute a contract, you can have text messages, you can have an email. It doesn't have to be a formal written agreement.
Document.
Yes.
Is that an Iowa thing?
No, in most states. In most states. I mean, you know, obviously what I know about is Iowa law, but most states have, you know, there's oral contracts, there's written contracts, there's another equitable provision kind of called promissory estoppel, and you know what that means is that we had a promise between the two of us, and I've acted but you didn't do your part, so you're estopped from backing out. I mean, so if, in other words, if I've relied, I've taken some action, I relied on something that you promised me. Maybe you sent me the $500 and I've already, you know, you sent me the $500 and you're out the $500, so that might be promissory estoppel. Or maybe I send you the watch, I got the watch on hold, but you never send me the money, and Lou wanted to buy it, and I said, no, Lou, Jackie's buying it, and now Lou went and bought another watch, and you back out. Well, that might be promissory estoppel, because you're stopped from backing out, because I was harmed because I could have sold it to Lou.
You could have unloaded it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, it's nice. I wouldn't unload it. I mean, but so that's what people need to realize, because a lot of times people think, well, gosh, I never put it in writing. Well, okay, do you have a text message? Do you have an email? Do you have
some kind of proof?
Some kind of proof. Now, in Iowa, we have some rules about what needs to be in writing. There are certain situations where it can't be an oral contract. And one example of that is if we're going to have a sale of real estate. So if I'm going to buy your house, that can't just be an oral agreement. That has to be in writing to be enforceable.
Does it have to be in writing? Does it have to be something that a lawyer draws up?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, if it has all the terms in it, I mean, if you wrote on the back of this piece of paper, you know, I'm going to sell Kim my house, and here's our closing date, and here's the amount of money, and here's what we're going to do for the inspection. I mean, if it has the terms in there and we both sign it, it can be enforceable.
Okay.
But it's just that it has to be in writing if it's going to concern real estate.
Is that because of a certain price amount, or just because it's real estate?
No, just because it's real estate.
Okay.
Real estate.
Now, but then going to that point with regard to a price amount, anything over $500 needs to be in writing. And again, an email would be a writing, a text message would be a writing, you know, so you just need to, you know, as long as it has all the terms in it.
Okay.
Another one is, let's say that Lou owes you some money and he comes to me and says, hey, I'm having a bad month, can you help me out with Jackie? And I say, okay, yeah, I'll pay your bill to Jackie.
Okay.
To be enforceable, that has to also be in writing. So if you're going to agree to pay somebody else's debts, that needs to be in writing. That's the reason why, you know, like if you've, you know.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so if you're going to get a mortgage and I'm going to co-sign on it, it has to be in writing. That's why the banks are, it has to be in writing. Or if you're going to, maybe you've got a child that's going to get a student loan and they want you to be the guarantor, they're going to want that in writing.
See, that's really important in case somebody wants to do somebody a favor by, I'll pay your debt. I'll pay your,
exactly.
Make sure that is in writing.
Yeah, get it in writing.
Ding, ding, exactly.
Yeah, because otherwise it's really not enforceable. Exactly. Now, if the contract is going to go over a year, let's say that you and I enter into an agreement and I'm going to sell you all my tomatoes that I have this year and next year, you know, that I grow in my garden. That would have to be in writing because it's going to go past 12 months.
All right.
So then,
over $500 and over a year.
Over a year, exactly.
Okay.
And then the other one is if it's going to go past our lifetime. So if you and I agree that I'm going to give not only you, but if you have children down the road, I'm going to give everybody tomatoes for the next 50 years. And let's say that you only live to be 30 years old. Then there's an argument or there's a requirement that it should be in writing. So if it's going to go for a long period of time, you know, so.
Those must be some incredible tomatoes.
Oh yeah.
I'm very excited about this.
My tomatoes and my watch, I can retire today. But I'm going to get it in writing, all right?
That's amazing. Well, it's important to know how much weight our words really do bear, but there are some other things to keep in mind.
Now, what if you didn't have the paper trail, so to speak, or the electronic trail? You said you can still use oral arguments or oral agreements.
Exactly. An oral contract is still enforceable, you know, as long as it's not for land or for over $500. An oral contract can be enforceable. Now, here's one other thing I didn't mention: a receipt. Let's say that I'm going to come and do work on your house, you know, and you want me to finish your basement. And so I give you a bid and then I start doing work and you give me money. Okay, that's a contract. It may not be something where we both signed it. It might just be that I've got the bid and I've got receipts. Yeah. There you go. That's enough for the writing.
What about the check that you write to whoever does the work?
Exactly.
Would that be your receipt also?
And that's the reason why I tell people all the time, write on the memo line. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
Put down why are you, I mean, so if you paid me in check for my watch, you should write on there, watch. I mean, that would be, I mean, it's super easy to do. Just write on the memo line. In fact, actually, I was just in court yesterday and I was making the point to the judge about what I wrote on a memo line regarding a dispute. So I wasn't a party to the case.
See,
I was trying to get something resolved.
I usually write bizarre things on the memo line just so it raises some eyebrows when they go to cash it. So maybe that's not a good idea.
Well, as long as it's not a contract, I think you can still have fun.
Okay.
But if it's a contract, you should use the memo line because that'll help you out down the road, just in case.
Good idea.
Some important things we're learning today and stuff I had no idea about. If people want more details, follow along. Maybe there's a contract they need to follow up with you as well. You guys are there to help out.
Yeah. We offer a free 30-minute consultation, so anybody can come in, have a cup of coffee, and we'll talk about it.
Fantastic.
Man, easy to find right across from.
Yep, Betts Auditorium.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
All right, 20 minutes before 8 o'clock, and we will be right back. This is CW Iowa Live in West Des Moines.